Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Okay, here we go.
Where the plays get broken down and science gets denied.
Yeah, they said I gotta come off the bench.
Hour 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Raising Cane studio.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 of OTB here on this Wednesday morning. Jake Flynn, Alondra Tate, all here in studio. Of course, it's Wednesday at 8 in the morning, so it's going to be Dr. Stephen Etheredge time, who joins us every single week. Doc, we always appreciate it. I hope you're doing well.
Doing great. How about y'all?
Strong to quite strong.
Doing
Kind of
awesome.
like Flynn's portfolio. You know what I'm saying?
I can hear this week, Doc, so we're doing great. Both ears.
All good things.
Mm-hmm. I do appreciate that when Doc came in to ask you about that, he asked you and you go, huh?
What'd you say? Say it to my gut
I
ear.
was like, wait, can you hear? Did you get that fixed?
I didn't say I could hear great, but I can hear.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. A lot to get to with Doc. We might as well go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off because had somebody that was very popular in sports, Kyle Busch, 41 years old, did pass away this last week. And at first it was kind of like, okay, hold up. What happened? Was it, you start thinking about things that come out of nowhere and things that kind of just, those things where you just didn't wake up. And it's like, man, that's 41 years and an athlete and somebody that, like NASCAR takes care of their bodies. And everybody's got their own personal person that kind of keeps up with their health and yada, yada. And it's like, you're just trying to figure out what it is and what happened. And then once you find out, Doc, kind of what happened, like it's even more scary because very easily that could have happened to any of us. As far as, feeling a certain type of way and then being like, it'll be okay. And I was telling the story, 2014, my wife got kidney stones. And then all of a sudden we go in the hospital, she's got pneumonia. And then that pneumonia, she turned septic, and it was like she was in the hospital for like 4 days. And it got real scary real quick. And it's like something that, you're like, oh, kidney stones. Everybody, they suck, but everybody gets kidney stones. You just go to, and you figure out a plan, and it almost was too late. And it can happen like that.
It can happen quickly, and these cases are the ones that are always so sad. It's not what you expect. It's not the norm. I heard y'all talking about earlier, I think I would agree that 99.999% of the time, this is not what's going to happen. But there are some strange situations out there. There's maybe occasionally going to be some kind of predisposing risk factors in the patients, but a lot of times these things are just really fluky. Right. In the case with Kyle Busch, I think what the official report is that he had a pneumonia with sepsis, and sepsis is a serious condition. Sepsis is when the bacterial infection gets in your blood. When that happens, the mortality rate, depending on which numbers you look at, anywhere from 25 to 40%. Yeah. Those are not small numbers. No. And we've done a lot better job in the hospitals, I will say, about how you manage that. There's what are called sepsis protocols because it's such a serious condition. You've got to treat it quickly. You got to treat it rapidly. You got to get on board with the plan right out of the gate. So you have to have a very high level of suspicion. And in his case, it sounds like he'd been sick a couple weeks prior, probably had some kind of a viral infection that started this off. And that's a lot of times in the young, healthy population, what you see is you get sick, you get a virus, flu, something else, something that typically you're going to feel better. You might feel lousy for a week or so, but you're going to get better. And then for whatever reason, it makes you more susceptible to this secondary infection. You get a pneumonia. And probably in his case, I'd assume a very aggressive organism, something like a staphylococcal, like MRSA, for example, is one that we see sometimes post-viral. So you have a virus, you're getting better, and then you get a lot more sick, and then it becomes sepsis. And then a lot of times, even with sepsis, it's really your own immune system. There's a condition called ARDS, which is acute respiratory distress syndrome, that's kind of tied in with all these things, where your lungs just literally become hyperinflamed because your autoimmune response, your immune response is too aggressive, and you get fluid in your lungs and you get inflammation in your lungs and it becomes difficult to breathe. So maybe he had a component of that. Sometimes it makes you more susceptible to things like pulmonary embolisms and things of that nature. So, I don't know all the details here. We kind of got the very small report. But I think the takeaway is if you're sick, on the one hand, you don't have to say overreact. I don't want people out there to freak out every time they get a sniffle. But for me, the thing I always worry about is if somebody's sick, especially if they seem to be getting better and then all of a sudden get a lot worse.
Yes.
That for me, I think is probably these are the times you see these autoimmune things. It's not usually the first few days. It's a week or two later, kind of like in this case. And I think, and again, that's not always going to be too. So also I don't want to scare everybody out there who gets sick, because sometimes you get sick and you know what, you get sick again. And it's not necessarily going to be one of these pneumonia or sepsis or ARDS or, it kind of hits close to home. We had a guy that was, my quarterback in high school who ended up playing at Florida State with me. He was Marcus Outson, who he was a year ahead of me, and he got a condition 2 years ago called, and it's hard for me to say those names as a medical, it's hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Which, flows off the tongue easily. Right. But it's an autoimmune condition. Very rare, but a very similar situation. He passed away from it. Right. This is a guy, state champion of our high school team, came in for Winky after Winky got injured, beat Florida in 98, big game there. And then, young, healthy guy, kind of, he was in his mid-40s and same type of thing. And these things happen.
Doc, when I hear people talk about autoimmune, we hear that term a lot. What does autoimmune really mean?
So your immune system is designed to fight infection. That's what the immune system does. And most of the times does a very good job. Right. Sometimes either because of some pre-existing genetic condition that you have, maybe because of some other medical condition, sometimes something as simple as a virus, your body starts to attack itself in some way, shape, or form. It becomes overly aggressive. Even some of the things you see, a lot of the worst symptoms you see when you have just the flu is your own immune response. So when people have a hard time breathing, you get chest pain. There's a condition called costochondritis where you get inflammation of the cartilage. That's an autoimmune condition where, for whatever reason, your immune system overreacts and then starts to attack either some or multiple parts of your body. And that's what causes sepsis. Sepsis is not usually the bacteria itself; it's your immune reaction to that bacteria. So it's a serious condition in some scenarios. Other times it's something that people live with their whole life. They have some kind of something like lupus, which is a condition where your body attacks certain things or things like that your immune system just doesn't respond the way that it should.
Man, it's really scary over the last couple of weeks, and just Kyle Busch and him passing away. Steven Garcia, I texted you, Doc, about this. Former South Carolina quarterback. He got stage 4 cancer. Didn't think anything and started to not feel well and put it off for a couple of weeks, but goes in and he's got stage 4 colon cancer. And it's just like, and I'm the worst at being just a meathead, and I'm not going to go in and I'm not going to do that. And man, we'll get to that later. I'll beat it. I'll feel better. It's like, you don't know, like if you go in, does it save your life? Maybe it does. Maybe it can. And going and getting it checked out, it's like, it's a pretty good reminder. And I know for me, scared me, like somebody that's younger than me that I played against in college is going through stage 4 cancer right now and didn't even know he had it until he just finally his wife, I think, kind of made him go in.
Well, it's the cancer screenings have changed. That recently the recommendations even for getting your colonoscopy went from 50 to 45.
Yeah.
We used to tell people get your colonoscopy at age 50. Now it's 45, and in some situations probably should be younger. If you have a family history of colon cancer, you need to talk to your doctor because. And I don't know what his background was prior to that, but maybe there was a family history there. But
right.
You're seeing more of these cases. There's a lot of theories for why we're seeing, especially colon cancer, younger. Whether it's stuff in the environment, stuff in our food, stuff in whatever. I don't want to do the deep dive there, but it's definitely clear that it's happening younger. Well, that's we got the Black Panther. I mean, that was
Yeah.
I mean, that's you have the superhero there, and we got him, and a guy that looked just young and healthy and vigorous, and that was his cause of death, and. These things happen.
All right.
Yeah, very morbid.
I know.
Great.
But I mean,
it has
but seriously though, we have a large male audience, and oftentimes that's who's the most hard-headed. 100%. And again, I'm raising my hand the highest because I am the most hard-headed when it comes to not feeling great and just trying to beat it mentally and trying not to go get it checked up on. But now these last 2 cases, it's like, man, hey bud, you got 5 kids. And
hey, we're on the other side of 42.
You're not quite there yet.
I'm in 40. I'm not into my 40s.
You're less than a
you
month.
are. Less than a month.
Yeah.
So you got to pay attention to your bodies. You got to pay attention to your symptoms and make sure you're not out there trying to be a meathead like sometimes
Like all
Jake
of
and
us.
I are going
Yeah.
to be. And just trying to say, oh, hey, I'm just going to beat it with mine. You can probably beat a decent amount of things. But when it comes to your body, especially at a certain age, definitely don't ignore anything. Don't ignore the symptoms. You can't always do it by yourself. Doc, let's turn to a little bit lighter. Lighter conversation here. Okay, so summer programs are getting ready to start. So you got everybody gone through spring. I'm assuming a lot of the players have some time off where you got to go work out. But what is your kind of role throughout the summer? I mean, I would assume that they do. I mean, obviously the job there for the strength and conditioning staff, the training staff, is to keep everybody as healthy and tip-top shape as you can. But things do occur. Like, what are some of the main things from the football team that you kind of see throughout the summer?
Yeah, well, summer is hopefully a chance to get healthy for one. So we got guys that have injuries that are rehabbing, from spring, even from the fall, guys that had surgeries and things like that. So part of summer is let's rehab those guys. Part of summer is doing our physicals. We do an annual physical. Guys get their physicals every year, and especially for the incoming athletes. In fact, we had last night up on campus, we had some of the new incoming freshmen, the ones who didn't report early. They're here now, and so we did some of the physicals on those guys last night. And just a side note, saw Coach O in the building last night.
Yeah,
Great to see him back up there.
Let's go.
And we were talking about that the other day, but just feels right. But we're doing a lot of physicals, a lot of education. We do a lot of different educational things. Like I get with each of the teams on campus. We talk about things like catastrophic injuries and why we do certain things we do in medicine. Why is heat stroke such an important thing? How do we handle that? We talk about talking about, hey, reporting your medical conditions, telling them what the warning signs are, more serious things. So, I'll have, PowerPoints and lectures that we'll do certain days. They're up there with each of the individual teams and coaching staff and administration and everybody so that they're aware. So it's a lot of that type of stuff. Obviously, they're doing the strength and conditioning stuff. They're doing the off-season workouts. And unfortunately, injuries there happen too. Usually more soft tissue type stuff. So it's not hopefully going to be anything that's going to be major. But there's always something. And then even getting sick. We were talking about illness. And guys, that doesn't stop either.
I do want to ask something just for our listeners out there that have children that will be playing football this year and going into training camps, maybe for the first time, maybe they're playing tackle, whatever it is. And at some point they are going to be outside. Now, I know it's easy.
Dude, just send them to drinkmyhigh.com.
Yeah, they're going to hydrate. No, I'm not doing that. I'm asking you, where is it important, especially for football players that have to go into a training camp of any age, to spend a lot of their time training outside leading up to that point?
Yeah, it's really important. We call it acclimatization. So basically, you don't want to go from doing nothing outside to doing full workouts, everything in the middle of the day. But your body has to adjust, especially in a place like Louisiana. You have to adjust. You have to get used to this climate. It doesn't happen overnight. I think about the first day that I go out and it's 85 and I'm sweating like crazy. And then, a month later, I would kill for a day that's 85. It feels like winter.
Mm-hmm.
Your body does adjust. Your body does change, and especially with athletes. So I think, yes, it's important to do it, especially if you're playing an outdoor sport like football. But also remember, you got to do it gradually. There's NCAA, they have recommendations and requirements that we do an acclimatization period for reasons. Yeah. Usually it's about a 10 to 14 day period. So that's why, the first day of camp, you're not out there doing 3 hours in full pads anymore. You're going lighter, and I think that there's a medical reason for that.
Moffitt believed in full immersion.
I kind of like getting callous myself.
There's some. We've talked about that, and look, I'm not completely against that mindset either. I think my meathead mentality still goes that way as well. But also we got to be safe, so you got to find that balance for sure.
Yeah, you got to be safe too. Like this time of year, and not just football, but thinking about like in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Like we played 2 weekends ago or whatever, and what you did at the beginning of the year, like as far as your catcher, like you go out there, you can catch 5 innings or whatever. It's like all of a sudden you're catching 2 innings. He takes the helmet off and it's drenched. Like he's just looks like he went and jumped in a swimming pool with the gear on. Like that's
catching in particular,
football.
but everybody out there
in baseball, like
a lot of the infields are turf too.
That's just about like you're sitting on that infield, you're playing shortstop. You're getting baked out there on the turf.
Out there. The turf is always a lot harder. Even not just on the surface. We've done it. I think I mentioned this at one point, but we've done it where we take the tripod thermometer that sits up at about head height, and it's usually 10, 15 degrees hotter at 5-6 feet above the turf, than it is if you just move it over 5 feet and put it on the grass. So it's not it's not just your feet that get scolded out there.
Right.
I remember Jack telling us sometimes like that turf, like when we were out, it was like 135.
Oh yeah,
like,
it'll burn you if it
135
get hot enough.
Like
on
it's 100 outside, but where y'all are at 130.
Yeah.
It's cooking.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
No, it's great. No, it's good. So if your kids are complaining when you kick them out of the house to go play outside and they're like, it's hot outside, just know it's for their own good. It's for their safety.
Yeah.
Got to kick them out there.
Yeah, you got to let
Lock
them
the
feel
door.
it a little bit.
Lock the door.
Like, maybe don't lock the door. I mean, in case they want to come in, but then you just kick them back out again.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Let them
come back in,
recharge
like,
for a
hey,
minute.
Cool. Get a glass of water. All right, get back in.
And also, don't kick them.
Well,
You said it.
I mean, there's
It's a
times.
figure of speech, but
Right.
don't take it literally
You
out
said
there and
it.
say, well,
You
Matt told me to
said it.
kick
There's
my
times.
kid.
All right, let's move on before you get yourself in more trouble. I wanted to ask you about Patrick Mahomes because he was out at OTAs yesterday. Now, he didn't go crazy. He had a huge brace on, but I mean, he was going through drills and he was, going through handoffs and he was going through dropbacks. He tore his ACL and his LCL in December. Like, that to me was fascinating that he was even out there. And again, like, it wasn't full speed. He was being very cautious, but where we've come from where we used to be, I mean, ACL, LCL, that was like a year.
Yeah.
Like, you're out, you're done. He did it in December. We're sitting here at the end of May, and he's participating in OTAs.
Yeah, a multi-ligament injury. So, ACL is bad enough, but when you have a second ligament injury with that, those are usually historically, to your point, those are big injuries. And they're still big injuries, to be fair. The rehab and recovery is advanced, I think. And I think also people need to understand you can't expect this all the time. Your guy goes down, like, why isn't he back in 5 months on the field like Patrick Mahomes? A, what position they play in. B, every injury is different. But there are a lot of advances. There's a lot of things. I think we've kind of dabbled on some of them that we can maybe do a deeper dive down the road. But newer techniques that are maybe helping with recovery. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Some of it probably works. Some of it probably doesn't, just to be fair. But these are things that I think, we realize that, hey, let's get him out there moving faster. Let's work on that range of motion. Let's get him stronger. And again, obviously, to your point, these were controlled settings. He would not be cleared to play in a game right now. But let's do him out there in a controlled motion where he knows what he's doing. Start getting that motion back. Start building that strength back. Yeah. And I think you're going to see more of that, and we already are seeing more of it typically.
Yeah.
Doc, I'm curious. Medicine has come so far. Let's look at 30 years in the future. Where do you think medicine can go? Like, is there a ceiling to where it can go from recovery? Are we going to get to like Star Wars world where they're just like putting a new arm on you and you go like, where is it going? Like, where does it cap? And how fast can, like, in 20 years, someone tears an ACL or rips an Achilles? It's like, well, he's back in 2 months, 3 months. What is the ceiling to medicine?
I think historically we've always been limited by the framework of the human body. You can only recover something so fast. You can only grow your bone back so fast. Now, the interesting thing is there are some new things out there that are maybe helping us get a little bit faster. None of them are proven yet, but yeah. And then it's funny, we talked about it right before I came in off the air about how AI and all this stuff is kind of look there. The technology that we have now is going to affect medicine in the future for sure. You used to say the ceiling is definitely there. I don't even know. If you want me to be honest, I don't know what our ceiling is. Now that the idea of some of these, Star Wars type things, to me, I make a joke all the time with my
it's starting
patients.
to become like, well, there's already fake knees and fake hips and different things. Like, I'm
excited to
next,
see, just in my life what it's going to be. But it's funny. I make the joke like, my patients will come in, they have their MRI. I'm like, the MRI fix you. I'm like, one of these days it's going to. I joke around about it. Now I'm like, well, one day it might. You go sit in this tube and you come out of it and you're walking normal or something. We'll see.
You ever see Repo Man?
I haven't seen that one.
They had like the metal like lungs and hearts and stuff. Yeah. And you don't pay your bills, they come and take it.
They come and take it.
Yeah. They repo it.
That'd be terrible.
That'd be awful.
Sweet.
You got to pay your bills though.
Make sure you put it on auto pay.
Right. Oof.
Don't forget that one. All right, there he is. Dr. Stephen Etheredge again joins us every single Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. Doc, we always appreciate it, sir.
Appreciate it. And I'd be remiss. I got to do one thing that I promised my wife I would do. So at 47, trying to find a way to stay young and talking about these things, our decision that was really not a decision, but kind of a whoops is we're having a kid. And I told her I'd give a shout out.
Congrats, Doc.
I appreciate it.
Do you know how long I've been holding that in? Because I found that out and I didn't want to say Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
That
So I was
is
jealous
awesome.
of Taylor over here. So we got Rhett James coming later
Let's
this
go.
summer.
Oh, I mean, it's
September. So yeah, we're
Let's
good.
go.
Start football season.
let's go.
Yikes.
Nice.
But
Wait, did you say a name?
Rhett James.
Oh, they said
Oh,
Rick
there you
James.
go. Oh,
That's everybody says. I said, yeah.
They said
Rick James, baby.
Yeah,
Old Rhett. Rhett's going to be joining the team here.
That's awesome, dog.
awesome.
That is-
Congrats.
it is always a blessing. It's and I was out of the game for 7 years, dove right back in, and it's kind of fun. Get a little youthful jolt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was 16 for me, so I wasn't really that. But hey, we couldn't be more happy. It's
That's awesome,
a blessing.
Doc.
Good for you, Doc.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you, to the missus, to Colt. He's gonna enjoy that. I
He's
know he's
gonna
gonna
love
be
it.
older, but watching my 16-year-old interact with my 2-year-old is awesome. I mean, he is great with her. They're buds. It's funny. You never know how that's gonna work out, but that's awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Hopefully he goes into the family profession. Being a medical doctor.
I thought you meant being a football player at Florida State.
Either way.
Got options.
Got options. So many.
All right, we'll be back. More OTB live from the Raising Cane studio.
Off the bench.
Speaking of the hot weather that Doc was talking about, the last thing that you want is for your AC unit not to be doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is cooling off your home, your business. So when you work with Emerson Heating and Air, you don't have to worry about that. Go to emsair.net, emsair.net to make sure you have that OTB $89 special tune-up. If you let them know you heard it here on OTB, that tune-up is going to save you some money. Again, just $89, and that way you make sure that your unit is ready to go whenever it happens, because it's kind of already here, that summer heat. So be prepared for it. Get with Emerson today, emsair.net.
That's right. Emerson Heating and Air. And if you work with a different heating company, air conditioning company, and they have told you, like, hey, you need a complete replacement, they will come and give you a second opinion for free right there. So give them a call at Emerson Air, emsair.net. Get that AC running for the summer. Keep that house cool. emsair.net, emsair.net.
I don't come down with the sun. I won't hate myself when the morning comes. No thoughts of your body running through
From the
my
locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
by my side the bed. Good. It wasn't no thing to give you up. I never reached for you in another touch. I don't ever think about you with them. And girl, tonight I won't call again and again. Ain't nothing but lies, lies, lies. Look into my eyes, eyes, eyes. I'm still a fool for you. Nothing I wouldn't do for you. Lies, lies, lies.
Let's go, Doc.
Let's go. Have that baby.
That is awesome. I've been known to dabble in that, and I'm 41, so I don't know, maybe. Although I always say this, I don't make roster decisions. I'm the head coach.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the GM of this team.
Are you the head coach?
I'm the head coach.
Okay.
Associate head coach.
So, yeah, there you go. There you go.
I make some decisions.
He's the
just not the big
special
ones.
assistant to head coach.
Yeah.
You give your opinion.
Yeah, no doubt.
You give your opinion, and sometimes a little bit more passionately than others.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes people listen, most time they don't,
Yeah. People are like, hey, man, I hadn't seen you in a while. Well, hey, look, I'm not in charge of the social calendar. It's not on me.
What happened to R&B Wednesday? What happened to R&B Day this week? I just alliteration
Said
felt
it.
good with Wallen Wednesday just this week.
It could have been Morgan Monday.
If you ever listen to the show, you know where it could have been, but we weren't here Monday. It was a holiday. We were celebrating America, Taylor.
They'll still have his songs next Monday.
Yeah, but we want to do it this
They'll
week.
be available.
But we want to do it this week.
Wait, do what?
Just have a theme. Look,
So we
y'all
could've
I was
know-
done
watching a video.
I said we could've done
SGA
Morgan
He said we
flopping,
could have
and it
done
triggered me.
Morgan Monday, and I was
yeah.
like, well, we weren't here. We were
But
celebrating
it is
America.
Marler. It would have been Marler Morgan Monday.
Yeah.
Anyways, so look, I like half the reason I show up here is for the songs that Alondra spins before we come into the segment. So Chill.
Have you ever actually spun a record?
Alondra has.
Like on
Like-
vinyl?
Yeah.
Didn't I see you DJing at the family bar?
I did do that.
Yeah.
But they had the DJ booth, and I'm known to go up to the DJ booth and not only request songs, but get on the
I
ones
mean
and
this
twos.
like in the best way possible because you and I have similar music taste. I bet you're the worst.
Oh, I have their phone numbers.
That's what I'm saying.
I have the DJ's
I bet the
phone
DJ sees
numbers.
Alondra walk into the bar.
They
and
hate
he's
to see me
like,
coming.
God. Well, there goes my playlist.
Yeah, I have their phone numbers and I text them my song requests.
She's taking the aux cord.
Yeah. Someone just texted me, us. This isn't my phone. This
We
is
got
our
a
phone.
text.
I got a text. This rejoin music is awful. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not
What
everybody
is up
loves
with
it.
what was up with the Morgan Wallen hate? Like, there's a lot of hate.
People
there-
still like it.
it's
He's
either
very
it's either
polarizing.
one or the other.
Yeah.
You either really like him or you really don't.
It's like a
like him.
grape flavored drink or something like that, or
Yeah,
candy.
I love.
Some
grape
people
flavor
You either
love
stuff.
hate it or you love
Powerade.
it.
Yeah, or like
Exactly.
cilantro.
Yeah, that's what I've learned with like flavors and trying to like test flavors out for my high. It's like there's a couple out there that people either passionately hate it or passionately love it, and I
Sure.
guess that's the same with Morgan Wallen.
I don't passionately love or hate Morgan Wallen. I will say I love country music. I'm not a big Morgan Wallen fan,
Okay,
Yeah,
but I
you-
don't have anything against him.
his
Okay.
concert's awesome. I love it.
Great-
Yeah,
puts
you
on a
like
great
you
show.
like more like. I don't know what is it called.
Morgan's a little too
He's-
poppy for me.
He's
A
poppy.
little too
You
poppy.
like.
Sure,
I don't know,
He likes Luke
cheesy
Combs.
country.
And
Yeah.
Eric Church.
Eric Church is like.
that's
Yeah.
pretty poppy, right?
Not like Morgan.
Okay.
There's a word for it. There's a way
I would
to
definitely say
describe
there's
the
a
country
handful of
music
songs that are
KT
very
likes. I
poppy, but he's
can't-
got some that aren't
So-
as
so-
poppy sounding.
For me, when a Morgan Wallen song like hits with me, I love it. And like for me, it's either a hit or a miss with him.
All right.
Right.
fair
So
enough.
like,
Yeah, that's what
I
we're
don't-
saying.
Yeah, I don't dislike him.
I really liked when he walked off the stage at Saturday Night Live.
And he was like, "Take me to God's country."
They meet back
And
together.
everybody was making fun of him for that. Like they were doing memes.
Yeah, I liked it.
I should post a
Get
picture.
out of there, New York City.
Why didn't I think of this? We should have posted a picture of like on ESPN's page or OTB's of Tiger Stadium and been like, "Give me back to God's country."
God's country.
I'm usually good about that stuff. I dropped the ball on that one.
I dropped them ball.
Well, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
There's one.
There you go.
Yeah, I dropped the ball.
There you go.
You're gone and I'm gone, 3 sheets to the wind.
You set me up. I had to spike it.
And I mean, if you hate Morgan Wallen, it also means you don't respect or hate the music taste of a lot of people you probably like that do the walkout with him.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. A lot of
Peyton
people do the
Manning?
walkout.
Peyton
I
Manning.
love the
Nick
walkout.
Saban.
Who do you think would do it if he did a show at Death Valley? You?
Us
Lane.
too.
I mean, Lane's the obvious answers.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Give me somebody better than that.
Team OTB
Yeah.
in full uniform like
yeah.
Peyton Manning was.
Yeah, dresses.
Like, give me a not basic answer.
Lil Wayne would be good.
Lil Wayne. I was gonna say
That would be good.
that'd be obvious too.
Boozy would be good.
It would be maybe
I'm
a big.
thinking athlete. I'm thinking an
athlete.
Yeah. Because it's usually
Shaq.
like Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Shaq
Shaq.
would be.
Shaq would be.
Yeah, Shaq.
Shaq would be great. Just the size alone, him walking out.
Joe.
Joe would be great.
I don't know if he would, but
Paul would be great.
It'd be tough to get Joe. Like depending on the time of year.
yeah.
It'd be tough. Shaq, just come on.
Shaq
come on
comes
in.
back all the time.
He's gonna be
so-
DJing at Fred's
Right.
already.
True.
Uh-huh.
Big true.
Big truths.
Big true.
Was it Broadway?
Tyler
Girls, I
Shough,
think?
Adam said.
Oh, Tyler Shough would
be pretty
do
good.
it.
That'd be
Like,
good.
and that would be, yeah.
Big good one.
I guess if he was at the Dome.
I like.
Be better.
Was he in Vegas recently when like he called
Brady or
nobody showed up?
Yeah, nobody was able to do
And
it.
he said, "Hey, y'all got some
Flaky
ass
people."
people
Oh,
here."
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was doing a show.
But didn't Tom Brady walk out with him one time?
Maybe.
Probably.
But he was doing a show in Vegas, and I guess people canceled.
Jerks.
We do need to have a Tyler Shough discussion because some of the some of the disrespect out there by a lot of people.
In the card game.
Not even that. I'm talking about like people talking
This guy.
second year quarterbacks and not thinking that Tyler Shough's above some of the players.
It's It's
a
ignorant.
head scratcher.
It's ignorant a little bit.
It is, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
Is it because he's in New Orleans? Is it because he was a second-round pick?
I think what I've heard a lot of people say is the age thing a little bit.
That's a stupid
It's really
argument,
stupid,
though.
right? It's really dumb.
And why it's dumb
And the market size.
Yeah, why the age stuff's dumb? Because he's 26 now. If he plays the rest of his contract out, he'll be 30. He'll sign another deal, 6 years probably, be 36, and still have years to play.
Right.
Matthew Stafford's 39.
Let's just
Aaron Rodgers is
Just won
42.
MVP. Yeah, for sure. But Matthew Stafford just won MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He's 39.
Yeah, I never understood that because it's like you could have your starting quarterback for a decade and he's 36 years old.
The quarterback's not a position where like that should worry you. Like if it was a running back, let's don't do that. 26, he's got 4 years left.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like 21 like Lamar Jackson was or 22 or whatever. Like I get all that, but my God, if you could have a franchise quarterback for a decade, sign 2 contracts with him, and he retires at 35, which would probably be young for a very well-established starting quarterback. Come on, like what? Yeah, what did you not see in the 9 games?
Yeah,
like it wasn't 3 games at the end of the year. I mean, it was at least an extended period of time, enough time to where he could have had some ebbs and flows, some ups and downs, and he didn't really. I mean, the team wasn't very good.
Right.
But they won games.
Let's do this when we come back because I do want to have I want to stand up for Tyler Shough. And look, we were watching Spencer Rattler play at a good level, didn't have guys step up around him, and the play around him didn't get elevated. And we were like, see what you have with Spencer Rattler. But the Saints knew what they had in Tyler Shough. And in that moment, we certainly admitted, hey, okay, hand up. We were wrong there because Tyler Shough elevated everyone around him. That was a skill set that if you're not there every day, you don't know. Well, he had it because even though Spencer was doing some good things, Tyler Shough made the Uber drivers around him better.
Right.
And that's something that if you're not there every single day, you don't know. And so the Saints knew what they had there. Let's have the conversation of second-year quarterbacks when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com, Gulf Coast Office Products, your absolute leader in office solutions, office technology, office customer service. They are the leader in all those categories. They've got 4 locations in Louisiana, in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, in Mandeville, in Lafayette. They are the official partner of the Pelicans, of the Saints, of LSU, of the Ragin' Cajuns. They are Louisiana through and through. Now, you get all the bells and whistles of a national company, but we say they're Louisiana because you're going to get customer service of the person you call is the person that helps you out. Go to GCOPnet.com today.
Yeah, well, it's GCOP. Yeah, you know me. Gulf Coast Office Products, the best. Louisiana's leader when it comes to that office technology. Yeah, they're sending printers, copiers, scanners all over the country, but they got 4 locations right here in Louisiana. And what sets them apart is their award-winning service team. When things go down, they will get you back up and running fast. GCOPnet.com.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
I've been looking at you from across the room. About time I got my nerve. Hey, you might tell me, boy, hell no. But hell, what can it hurt? 'Cause I just wanna spin you round and round this dance floor. Get you drunk on love like mine. Might wind up and steal a couple kisses. Get your digits if I can find a right line. Well, you don't.
Welcome back here off the bench on a Wednesday morning. Before we start waxing poetic about Tyler Shough, let's tell you about our friends over at Bayou Automotive. If you are in the market for a car right now, you're driving around that old rust bucket of yours, and you're like, man, I got to upgrade here. Well, look no further. Go to BayouAutomotive.com and make that buying process easy. Whether it's a new car, used car, it doesn't matter. They got it all. They got Ford, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, the Black Widow package. And guess what? They got 9 full-time drivers on staff right there at Bayou Automotive. So what does that mean for you? That means you can go on their website and just buy you a car, and they're going to drive it to you. You don't even have to go to their dealership. You can. It's an awesome dealership. But if you just want to have that easy process, just go buy it, and they'll drive it to you. And look, if you buy a car from Bayou Automotive and you need something done to it, some maintenance, some repair, they will send somebody to pick it up, drive it, repair it, and then bring it back to you right there. You get incredible customer service on the cutting edge of selling all things in the car game right over there at BayouAutomotive.com. Well, you're doing some serious research over there.
Well, we want to have a.
Were you looking up Tyler Shough's? They don't do Wonderlic. What do they do now?
God, I told y'all what it was called.
Yeah,
SI? Something like that.
All right. This is good enough to go off of. I was looking because we've given you the stats of what Tyler Shough has been, and we've given you the projections if he would have played this amount of games. He was on
S2.
I think 40.
S2. That's yeah.
Sorry. He was on his way to 4,000 plus yards.
I think it was 4,700. I believe Nicholas said
46 and change,
46,
something like that. Either way, so we can give you stats, whatever. But I'm also looking at the Pro Football Focus grades. And look, some people don't follow Pro Football Focus. Some do. I like it. I think oftentimes my eyes tell me a story. Then I go back to check the grade to see if my eyes were telling me the same thing. And
it's got some really good tools.
90% of the time it does.
It's got some really good tools. The grading is subjective, right? You can argue, whatever. But it's got some good tools here.
So I was just looking at, okay, let's see what they said about a couple of young quarterbacks. And I got through Shough and 4 other ones, and we can continue maybe some of the research. But, okay, J.J. McCarthy was 61.8 last year. He's a second-year player, but kind of a first-year player because of injuries and different things.
These are grades.
Jackson Dart, 67.9. All right. Cam Ward, 58.4. Shedeur Sanders, 44.1. Tyler Shough, 75. So the best by a grade, by a pretty good margin as well. So it's not just the stats. It's not just, us being in Louisiana talking about the Saints quarterback. It's not because, obviously, he's a friend of the show. It's none of that. It's you have football knowledge. You turn on tape, and you're like, oh, that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he throwing to? Oh, I don't know him either.
Mm-hmm.
It was some of that too. Now, I think Cam Ward's going to be much better. I think you saw him take strides, and unlike the other quarterbacks, Cam Ward had to be thrown to the wolves. He started from day one.
And Cam Ward was, it's hard to say, probably on a worse team than Tyler Shough was.
They were both bad.
They were both bad, but
they're both bad. There's a reason they're both picking in the top 10, top 8.
Mm-hmm. And now let me follow up on the grades. It paints a clear picture that Tyler Shough played well and played better than any other rookie quarterback in his class, and that can't really be argued on the time that he didn't start as many games as some of the others. A little bit of an indictment on this PFF grades that J.J. McCarthy was 3rd highest. It's a little bit of indictment.
He didn't have the sample size though. He only played a handful of games. It didn't have a lot of he didn't have a lot of attempts either. So some of the usage is going to be down.
Yeah, but
from what
from the eyeball test, I know he was.
I thought Cam Ward would be higher, but I'm not surprised that Shedeur was lower. JJ's grade I thought would be somewhere in the 58 range, like Cam's was.
Wait, JJ wasn't a rookie.
No, I didn't. No, he was a second-year player, but he went through injury, so kind of first year.
Yeah, first year. Okay.
Type stuff. That's why I added.
I'll go with that.
I said that.
I'm good with that.
You just didn't listen.
No, I didn't listen to that.
I know. I've been with you long enough. I understand. The point is, and look, I've seen a lot of different podcasts. I've seen a lot of different articles that are talking about second-year quarterbacks, and the conversation always starts with Dart. Then it goes to Sanders or Ward, and then it goes to Tyler Shough. And the question I have is why? And that's not even look, our guys Jarvis Landry and Leonard Fournette do a podcast, and they were talking about it, and they kind of had Shough at the bottom.
Yep.
And my man Jarvis did mess up the pronunciation of Tyler's name as well.
Okay.
But like it's a lot of people. I mean, it's people with like really high football IQ.
Yep.
So I guess I don't understand the disconnect of what he did last year.
Yep.
With who he did it with and where he's going to go compared to these other quarterbacks.
Even though what he did last year was great, it's still the Saints were still irrelevant at the time that he did it, right?
All of these teams are irrelevant.
I get that.
Yeah.
But you couple that being a second-round pick, not a first-round, doesn't have a 1 by his name, and then the other, and all I can say is Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick. So he's obviously going to get a lot of attention. Jackson Dart, New York Giants, and he was exciting in primetime, which Tyler Shough did not get a chance to do. He did not get a chance to be exciting in primetime.
Yeah.
And then Shador, he's got a famous dad. That's pretty much it. And he's not going to be the starter.
No, yeah,
Which is so it's wild to think. Like we're not talking. We get so wrapped into the narrative that you hear, and that's what like out of sight, out of mind. Well, Tyler Shough's been out of sight. He shouldn't have been, but he has been out of sight, so he is out of mind, and it's crazy. And that's why it's like, and I keep bringing this up, and it's kind of like I bring it up in a little bit of jest, but like in the card world is a reflection of what people actually think about him outside of Louisiana. And they just don't think about him. They say, yeah, he's good. It's a rookie quarterback. Like, cool. I'm going to go collect those cards just in case. Well, like, what do you mean just in case? He was the best quarterback of the class last year. And I don't think it was that close. So is he going to be a franchise guy? I don't know. I heard Nick talk about, sophomore slump. In my experience and what I see for the most part is I see the biggest jump for quarterbacks in the NFL comes in between year 1 and year 2. That is where you're going to make the biggest strides in your career as a quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Year 1 to year 2, because now you're not new. Now you get it. You get the speed. You get the attention to detail you have to have. You get now that it's a job and not a sport that you play.
Yeah.
You get now that, the defense is just as smart as I am.
Yeah.
Even though defense is a bunch of dum-dums.
Yeah,
in the
they
NFL, they're pretty smart. So, like, you start
Which gap?
getting that, and you start elevating, and you start seeing the things that other quarterbacks do. You start speaking fluently in NFL language. You start and you understand your offense a whole heck of a lot better.
Right.
So these are the big jumps. Sophomore slump, like, what is that? Like, unless you're getting a brand new coach and you just stink, and you had a lucky first year, but that's not the case. Watch the tape.
Yeah.
It wasn't lucky.
Not at all. And if you're a Saints fan, you should be excited about not just Tyler Shough continuing to develop. You should be excited that they got him actual weapons. They got him another receiver to fight to be the number 1 receiver on this team. They got him a 3rd-round tight end. They signed a tight end in free agency. And they also got Achane to be the running back to take some pressure off a young quarterback. And so I don't know about other shows, but here on this show, we are certainly going to highlight how well Tyler Shough played in his rookie season and look forward to seeing what he does in his 2nd season. All right, we'll step away. More OTB when we come back here live from the Raising Cane's studio.
Off the bench. Locked in on LSU football 24/7. You're listening to Off the Bench.
Don't know where you at, don't know where you been, don't know nothing about that boy you're into. Don't feel bad for you, but I feel bad for him, and all the hell you gon' be putting him through. Probably tell him we're a burnt out flame, probably tell him that I ain't been.
All right, welcome back in OTB. Do apologize for the short segment, but when you're talking Tyler Shough and trying
You're
a
not
little
sorry.
bit,
You're
a
not
little
sorry
bit,
at
a little bit, a little bit.
I'm gonna blame it on him though, because he's the one that kept going.
He did. He got
It was like
long-winded.
it was 47, and I was like, oh, we're not breaking
hell.
on.
Matt's like, I just started cooking.
I was
We ain't
like,
slowing
yeah,
down now.
boy.
Yeah.
And look,
I hadn't really had an opinion all morning. Finally got one.
that's not true.
Let me cook.
kind of true. Besides, what does the Fox
Yeah,
say?
he's big on that. It's a big Matt Flynn song.
That was about it. It was that, and then Tyler Shough got him.
Well, look, bringing up boring things.
You have the ability to bring up whatever you want to. Ever think about that?
I didn't. Not until now. Thank you.
It's only when it's the
Microphones are
tripod.
open.
It's been a year. Just figured that out.
I mean, I know your face is still hurting
Wait,
from talking on
somebody,
Friday.
Nookie messaged me the other day. Your anniversary is coming up,
It is.
June 2nd.
June 2nd. I think I decided to maybe wear a tuxedo.
Please do. Please wear a tuxedo.
No,
Should
do
I
a
be like-
tuxedo shirt. Says you're serious, but you're also here to party.
That's true.
Tuxedo, just the tops with athletic shorts.
Ooh, that would crush.
I
The
don't
old
really know.
Curb Street.
Former LSU baseball player Cole Freeman when we come back, hour 3.
Off the bench.
All right, we always encourage you to go see our friends over at Rouse's. Go to rouses.com, and we give you the website to a grocery store because we want you to find the location that is convenient for you. Right now, it's breakfast time, so you could go. You could have the breakfast bar. If you went a little bit
I miss that
later,
breakfast
you could
bar.
have – it was so good.
Oh, yeah.
Bacon. They got mad at us how many times we went there, though.
I know. I hope we go back in football
We
season.
will. Oh, we'll be there.
Oh, we'll be there.
It's the breakfast bar. We do it every Friday.
Uh-huh.
Lunch bar, salad bar, sushi bar, all right there as well. Pre-made meals. And you know they always have something local at Rouse's. They're all about Louisiana. They're all about the Gulf Coast here. So go to rouses.com for more information.
That's right. Rouses.com. You can put your zip code in right there, and it'll show you your local Rouse's right closest to your house. And they'll show you all the deals that they are running that week. So go check them out. Get your groceries right there, Rouses.com.